Hi there, Jen Roque here at stampcampwithjen.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Summerfield, Florida, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have this fun little 3D project that we created at my September 2021 Stamp Camp classes. This is a case of a project from demonstrator Angie Juda, and I'll include the link to her project in the description below. My project is almost exactly like hers. The only thing I did different were my embellishments. I used the brush metallic dots from the July through December catalog, and she used some of the in color dots. So I'm actually going to give this to my husband, who loves Mr. Goodbar and Crackle and all those little fun things, and I thought using the brush metallic dots would kind of give it even more of a masculine feel. So I thought that would be a fun little add-on, a little twist, I guess. So this project uses some bags from Clear Bags. If you want to buy them on the Clear Bags website, you just go to clearbags.com. You can put in this little code right here and it'll bring up these bags. These are like kind of similar to the plastic envelopes that we have at Stampin' Up! Where they have the peel off adhesive. And actually, I'm going to grab one real quick to show you the size. So if you look here, these are the clear envelopes that we have at Stampin' Up! So they're a little bit narrower for this project, and they fit the candy a little bit better. I don't know if you can see, oops, that's way up top there, but they're a little bit narrower than the clear envelopes that we have at Stampin' Up! So these fit perfectly. These the clear bags you order, they come in like a pack of 100. So if you don't need 100, maybe go in on it with a friend and split the pack or something. But these are really cute. These would be a really great craft fair seller, I think, for people to give to like their loved ones or, you know, friends, neighbors, things like that. And it's perfect for fall with the squirrel and the nuts about you. And this is the, which paper is this? This is the Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper that we're using today. So I already have the pieces all cut out. And again, if you go to stampcampwithjen.com, the blog post, if you're watching from my YouTube channel, the link is in the description below. I have all the measurements on here. And again, my blog post will have the link to Angie's project and her video as well. So we're using this Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper. You could actually flip it over and use this design too. That would be really cool with like the faux suede trim, the brown trim, and maybe some Mary Merlot paper if you wanted to go even more of like a darker fall color. But this one's kind of bright and cheery, so we're going to use this. So you want to make sure the paper is the right way, and you'll know it is because it fits all the way around our score lines here. This piece we scored at 2 and 2.5 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish the score lines or crease the score lines with my bone folder. Okay, and then we are going to take, again, making sure, because it is really close. You'll see you could put it this way, but it's not even through the sides. So if it has an even border around the sides and the top, then you know it's facing the right way. So we're going to go ahead and round the edges with our punch here, our detailed trio punch. And you just want to stick the corner in all the way and put your hand in the middle of the punch and press down with even pressure. Oops. Oh, good. It moved after I punched it. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing with these top 2 corners of our bumblebee paper. Just want to put it all the way in so it's touching the sides, and then punch with the middle there. All right. And then we're going to take our seal. And just like a card, I like to do all 4 corners in a little angle stripped in the middle. And we're going to put that right there. Okay. And then this piece, we're actually going to lift this piece up, and we're going to put the DSP on that top panel right there. And I just like to do 2 strips right there of the seal. Okay, and just evenly put that in, and that's it for that. And we can kind of set that aside for right now. Now, for the squirrel, I'm going to show you how to set up the stamps on the Stamparatus to get the squirrel to stamp out perfectly, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So for this, we're going to use both of our plates here, okay? So if you're new to using the Stamparatus, this is a fantastic tool. You won't go back to stamping any other way when you get a Stamparatus. You're gonna love this thing because you can get perfect stamps every time, and it's great for like if you have to mass produce something and you want it to be quick and perfect. It's always gonna come out great every time. So with these Nuts About Squirrel stamps, these are the photopolymer stamps, the clear stamps. So your Stamparatus comes with this black foam pad, or you can get this specialty pad that has the grid on it. So I actually have the one with the grid, and I've put that in my Stamparatus, okay? Because you need that extra cushion with the photopolymer stamps. These spines right here, I will warn you, if you're going to stamp anything, I wouldn't butt your stamp right up against the spines because they are a little bit higher up. If you put your stamp right up against these spines, it's going to be really hard for you to push your stamp all the way down and get a clean, crisp image. So I always try to kind of pull my stamps a little bit away from the edge just so I can make sure it's more of a flat surface there. And don't do like me. I had my Stamparatus for maybe a week or two, and I broke one of my magnets. These things are super, super strong, and if you put them too close together, they will run into each other, and that's how mine broke. And I've talked to so many people who do it all the time. Even though you know better, it's bound to happen if you put them down on your desk and kind of leave them there. So what I would suggest is if you're not using them, the Stamparatus has these little storage sections in the bottom. Put them back in the storage sections instead of just randomly on your desk like I did. That's how I broke mine. Okay, so how we want to set this up, let me get a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to cut a piece that's about 3 by 4 inches off camera here real quick. And you don't really need it too big, but you do need some room around where the squirrel is going to be stamped so that you can put your magnets. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to line my paper up at this 1 inch mark right here. And then I'm going to put one of my stamps at the bottom and the other stamp at the top, okay? And then we want to take the squirrel that's like the outline stamp, and we're going to put him kind of right in the middle there. And then what I like to do is put my plate in. So you put your plate straight up and down and push it in. And then when you tilt it over and kind of press it down, that stamp will stick to the plate, and then it's in position where it needs to be, okay? So now we're going to take our stamp set, because if you put your stamp set right underneath that plate, you'll have a flat surface to stamp on every single time. So we're going to take our black and ink it up, ink that squirrel up, and press it down. Perfect. Now if you had some sections that maybe didn't stamp all the way through, all you have to do is press it back down again to get that ink to come off the stamp onto the paper, okay? You don't need to re-ink it unless you notice that all of your ink is gone. Maybe you just didn't ink up the stamp very well. Then you could re-ink it, but I wouldn't re-ink it too much because you don't want it to be too dark. So now we're taking the squirrel stamp that highlights the middle of the body, and we're just going to line it up as best we can over where it should be on the body, kind of looking at his ears and his feet. Now, with this plate, I'm not going to press it too hard because I don't want it to stick down onto the paper and kind of move the paper. I just want it to stick to that plate. And then we're going to move our stamp under this plate And you probably can't see that. Yeah, let me move that down a little bit. Yep, so now you can see the squirrel right there. So we're gonna take our Cajun Craze. And if you have a Stampin' Spot, the little small ink pads, that might be easier to stamp up, but I am just using my big one. So just remember with these pads, they are very, very juicy. So you don't wanna press down really hard. You just wanna lightly tap all over and make sure that you've got a nice even layer of ink on the squirrel. And then we're just gonna fold him over. Oh, preferably not where my painter's tape. Oh, this thing. Okay, so I have my painter's tape is kind of in the way. I'm gonna put it at an angle here. I'm gonna re-ink because I think some of it hit the tape before I moved it. There we go. And then we're just gonna take that guy, press down, and voila. Perfect. And that's how you can line up your stamps. That's actually called two-step stamping. So you stamp the outline first and then you stamp the middle of the body, and that's how you get the second. That's the second step, is stamping the middle of the body there. So I'm gonna clean my stamps up just a little bit and put my Stamparatus away so we can finish our project. I'm gonna close my ink pad so I don't accidentally drop something onto it and make a mess. Okay, so now I'll move that aside. And then what we're gonna do for this guy is we're actually gonna fussy cut him out with our paper snip. So he's actually not too bad because he's pretty round for the most part. There aren't a lot of like tiny intricate details. I know a lot of people don't really like to fussy cut, which it's not my favorite either. If I had a punch or a die, I would much rather do that. But sometimes it's not so bad, like with this guy here. So I'm actually gonna do the bigger sections first and kind of do like a general cut to cut him out of the paper, and then we can go back in the smaller parts and kind of clean it up as we need to. So just kind of get a basic cut here. I honestly wish that they came out with dies or punches for pretty much everything, but I get that that's not always necessary or cost effective, but I don't know, I guess because I'm a perfectionist, I'd much rather have somebody give me something that I can line up and make sure it's gonna be just right than have to rely on my own cutting abilities. But that's okay. But yeah, normally I show my husband my projects beforehand when I'm getting ready for Stamp Camp, but for this one, I think I'm just gonna give it to him after Stamp Camp, and he's gonna really enjoy it. He really likes Crackle, and Mr. Goodbar is one of his favorites, so I thought this would be really cute for him. It'd be a nice little treat for him. I actually have a lady that comes to class. Her husband, every time before she comes to class, he gets excited and says, I can't wait to see what treat you bring me, because he knows whatever 3D project we make with little candies and stuff, she gives it to him. It's so cute. So I'm just going around his ears now, getting that extra white out of there. And then I'm going to go through each of his feet, which won't take too long either. This project is really quick and easy and so adorable. I think it's going to be a big hit with everybody, and I wish they had more of this paper. I looked through the pack to see if maybe I could use some of the other papers for like to make more for a craft fair, but I don't know if the other designs really work as well with it. So there you go. Like I said, not too bad. You could even clean it up even more if you wanted to. I'm not gonna worry about it too much, but you know, cut as much as you want, because it is gonna go over this white rectangle too, so it doesn't have to be really perfect. So for this rectangle, if you have the stitched rectangle dies, it's actually the section on the left here, it's the second largest rectangle. That's the die that we're using. And I believe if you wanted to cut it, If you don't have the dies, you could cut out a 1.5 by 3.5 inch piece of white paper. I really like the stitching though. I think it looks really cute. So we're gonna get the Nuts About You stamp. I already have it on my block here. And we're gonna stamp that onto the black over to the right hand side right there. And then we can kind of, actually I'm gonna pop him up first just so I have them together. And then I'll show you how to put the candy in the bags. I was a little confused about it, which is kind of funny because you think, oh, you just throw it in there. No, I was putting it in one way and going, why is this candy so tight in here? I had to watch Angie's video and figure out how she put it in there, and I was completely doing it wrong, which is pretty funny. All right, so I just put 3 little dimensionals on his tail and his midsection and behind his head, and then we're gonna pop him up right on the side there, and I'm just gonna put this off to the side, and I'm gonna grab my bag here. Yep, this is it. And then the candy we're using, I got these at my local Target. I'm sure you could get them at Walmart, Amazon, grocery stores. They're these Hershey miniatures, and they have that fall design on the wrapper, so it fits perfectly. So I'm gonna grab 2 crackles and 2 milk chocolates and 2 Mr. Good bars for my little baggie here. And I think they come with dark chocolate too, but we're not really dark chocolate people. I'm not a big fan of it. I need that extra sugar kick. Okay, so when I first put them in, I was trying to put them in like this, but you actually put them in with the flap to the side. You put them in 3 wide that way, not 2 straight up and down, if that makes sense. So we're gonna start with, how did I do it? I put, let's see, in the opening, yeah, we're gonna fold it back that way. So we're gonna put the Hershey's on the bottom here, and then I'm gonna put the crackle above that. I always think it's funny that my husband likes crackle. I think they're gross. Not gross, but it's not my favorite. I think out of all these, the Mr. Good bar is probably my favorite. But crackle is just kind of a blah candy. I've never really liked it that much. But he loves it, so I always give them to him. All right, and then we'll put the Mr. Good bars at the top. There. Okay, so just like that. And then we're gonna flip it over and take the adhesive off the flap. And then we'll just flip it over and adhere it like that. Just like that, perfect. Okay, so now what we're gonna do with our little case basically is you're gonna put them in there so that you can see the Mr. Good bar up there. And then we're gonna take this bumblebee gingham ribbon, and Angie cut off 20 inches. So that's how much I'm gonna cut off. It is really about the perfect length if you cut 20 inches of ribbon. And then we're gonna wrap it, we're gonna have it underneath here. And then you want to be careful when you tie your bow, because if you tie it too tight, then it's going to kind of squeeze the top up a little bit, and you don't want that. You want it to kind of lay flat like it's supposed to. So try not to tie it too tight when you tie your bow here. Let's see. So I'm just going to tie it like that. And like I said, kind of loose, not too tight, but you don't want it really loose either. It's kind of a fine line between the two. There we go. Oh. Trying to get it exactly how I want it there. All right, so we'll trim our ends so it's not too tight. It's kind of hanging down like it's supposed to. That's good. I'm gonna angle my ends. All right, And then for this guy, we're gonna put 2 more dimensionals. What'd I do with my dimensionals? Oh, it was right in front of my face. Oh, they're under my little candy bag here. So we're just gonna take 2 dimensionals and put them right in the center here. Pull the backing off. And then you're just gonna center the rectangle right above it. And then we're gonna use these brushed metallic dots, and I'm gonna grab my putty end of my Take Your Pick tool, and I like the copper dots here in the middle, so I'm gonna grab a big one and put it in the corner. And then the smaller ones, I'm gonna put one down here and one maybe up there. And that's it. Now we have these adorable little treats to hand out to somebody. So, oops, a little low, sorry about that. All right, guys, well, I really hope you enjoyed this project today. Thank you so much for joining me. I know my Stamp Camp girls are gonna love it. You're watching this after we've had Stamp Camp, but I'm recording this before Stamp Camp. So I know they'll love it, and I know their husbands will love it too if they share. All right, guys, so as always, if you need any supplies from today's project, please be sure to shop with me at stampinup.com. My name is Jennifer Roque, and don't forget, if you use my monthly host code, you'll get my free gift. For September, it is the In Color Jewels. If your order is at least $50 and you use the host code, you get the 2021 to 2023 In Color Jewels. So, all right, guys, well, until next time, stay safe and happy stamping. Bye.